Imagine waking up every morning in a concrete box, surrounded by killers, gang lords, and desperate men with nothing left to lose. No escape, no mercy, only survival. These are not just prisons. They are pressure cookers of violence, places where the rules of society end, and a darker order takes over. Hollywood paints prisons as chaotic playground for thugs, full of brawls, tattoos, and trade deals in the yard. But the truth is far more disturbing and far more organized. Inside facilities like ADX Florence, San Quentin, and Attica, life isn't just dangerous, it's psychological warfare. Every second, someone is plotting, watching, or waiting for weakness. Behind those bars lies a hidden world, one most Americans will never see, and few went to ever escape unchanged. Deep in the Colorado desert stands America's most secure prison, ADX Florence. It houses the nation's most dangerous criminals, men who can't be trusted in any other facility. The Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, Boston Marathon bomber, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, Mexican drug lord, El Chapo Guzman. They spend 23 hours a day in solitary confinement, 1 hour in a concrete yard, alone, no contact, no sunlight, no sound except their own heartbeat. Inmates call it the clean version of hell. Some lose their minds. Some lose their humanity. Others adapt and learn to control the prison itself. Stylized animation or diagram showing how prison gangs control the system. To survive, you must belong to someone. Inmates quickly learn there's an invisible government behind bars, a ruthless chain of command. At the top, the shot callers, they run operations like CEOs. Beneath them, soldiers who enforce orders. And at the bottom, new fish, the fresh meat who either toughen up fast or don't last long. The moment you step into that yard, you'll size up by race, by gang, by what crime you did or didn't do. If you're a snitch, a cop, or a child predator, you won't make it past your first week. In these prisons, violence isn't random. It's calculated. Every fight, every stabbing, every hit is approved by someone higher up. The guards know it. The inmates know it. Everyone plays their part in the silent system. There's a saying inside, you don't start trouble unless you're ready to finish it. Meals are the most dangerous part of the day. One wrong look, one bump, one whisper, and someone's getting shanked. But the real weapon isn't the knife. It's isolation. Locked away for years, some inmates begin talking to walls. Others hallucinate voices. Some cut themselves just to feel something again. The human brain isn't built for silence, and ADX is pure silence. Prisoners describe hearing the buzz of a light bulb for hours until it becomes a scream in their head. It's not the walls that confine you, it's the silence that eats you alive. Even the guards aren't safe. Some officers are described walking into cell blocks where they feel like prey, watched by hundreds of eyes through tiny windows. They face daily manipulation, threats, and mind games. One wrong move, one favor to the wrong inmate, and their name ends up on a hit list. The line between officer and prisoner blurs in places like this. Everyone's trapped. Some just wear a different uniform. When pressure builds, it explodes. Over the decades, America's most dangerous prisons have seen uprisings that shocked the nation, from the bloodbath at Attica in 1971 to the chaos of Pelican Bay in the 90s. Hundreds dead, thousands injured, all because human beings reached their breaking point, caged, ignored, and left to rot. And yet, somehow, the system still continues. But behind the violence, there's something darker. Something most people never hear about, because the system wants it that way. Secret experiments, corrupt guards, hidden tunnels, and the terrifying truth about what really happens when the cameras go off. What happens next will change how you see prison forever. Every system has cracks, but inside America's prisons, those cracks have become tunnels where power, money, and fear trade hands in silence. Contraband doesn't just appear out of thin air. Cell phones, drugs, weapons, they all come from somewhere, and often it's not the inmates smuggling them in. Guards arrested for bribery, footage of drug busts inside prisons. A pack of cigarettes can buy a favor, a phone can buy freedom, And for the right price, you can even buy protection or death. This is the unspoken rule of the underworld behind bars. Everyone's for sale. When the system denies you freedom, you build your own. Every prison in America has its own black market. Ramen noodles are currency. Stamps are stock. Tobacco is gold. One former inmate said, "I made more money inside than I ever did outside. Only difference, inside, I couldn't spend it." Deals are sealed with silence. There are no receipts, only loyalty or revenge. Few people know this part of history because most of it was erased. In the mid-20th century, U.S. prisons became hidden laboratories. Inmates, often poor, uneducated, and forgotten, were used in secret medical experiments. They were injected, burned, or drugged, all in the name of research. Some didn't survive. Others were released, broken beyond repair. And while laws change, whispers suggest that experiments of a different kind still happen today, not with chemicals, but with psychological manipulation. Beneath many old prisons lie tunnels, relics from the 19th and early 20th centuries. Originally built for maintenance or escapes, many were sealed, or so officials claimed. But whistleblowers from facilities in Pennsylvania and Illinois have told a different story. Tunnels still used today, not for escape, but for transport. Transport of what? Some say contraband. Others say inmates the system wants to disappear quietly. No official record. No paperwork. Just silence beneath the surface. Inside, loyalty is law. Talking to outsiders, to the press, to investigators, even to guards, can get you killed. The code of silence runs deeper than any chain or cell door. It's how the system stays hidden, how truth dies before it ever reaches daylight. You don't talk about prison. Prison talks about you. Over the years, a few brave men and women have tried to speak out. Guards, doctors, even wardens. They expose corruption, gang influence, secret killings, even hidden burial sites. But nearly all of them face the same fate. Silence. Threats. Career destroyed. Some vanished. In a system built on control, truth is the greatest threat. But one story stands apart, a man who lived through the chaos, the corruption, and the darkness, and made it out alive. He spent 18 years in one of the most violent prisons in America. What he saw can't be unseen. You don't survive in there by being strong. You survive by becoming something else. He escaped the walls, but the walls never left him. In the final part, we reveal the truth about what prison really does to the human mind, and why some say America's prison system wasn't built to reform, but to break. This is where the Riot story begins. Heavy breathing echoing, the camera slowly zooms into a cell door with scratch marks. You can escape the cell, but not the walls inside your mind. Every man who's lived behind bars carries invisible scars, paranoia, rage, silence, guilt. The walls that once held them in start living inside them. Former inmates describe it like a ghost that never leaves. You jump at sudden noises. You sleep facing the door. You count seconds even when free. Freedom doesn't feel free when your mind's still locked up. That's a legacy of America's most dangerous prisons. Not just broken bones, but broken people. Inmates say the worst punishment isn't the violence, it's the silence. Psychologists have compared solitary confinement to psychological torture. After just 15 days, hallucinations, panic, and paranoia begin. Some start hearing voices. Others talk to imaginary friends. And some stop talking entirely. One man spent 27 years in isolation. When he was released, he said the sound of human voices felt like knives in his ears. Over 2 million Americans are locked up, many for nonviolent crimes. But once you enter the system, you're marked for life. Prison doesn't just punish, it erases. You lose your name, your choices, your humanity. Some are innocent, some are guilty, but inside, everyone pays the same price, identity. Letters go unanswered. Families stop visiting. Friends move on. And in the silence of their cell, the question hits hardest, do I still exist? Behind every cell is a paycheck. Private prisons in America make billions. Every filled bed means profit. The more inmates they hold, the more money they make. Inmates work for as little as 25 cents an hour, making everything from furniture to military gear. The system doesn't want rehabilitation. It wants repeat business. It's not called a correctional system for nothing. It corrects you into obedience. It's more than punishment. It's control. Experts say prisons are designed to break identity, to replace individuality with submission, emotion with obedience. Inmates learn to move when told, speak when allowed, and think only within the walls. You stop being human and start being part of the system's design. Not everyone makes it out. Some die in riots. Some take their own lives. Some simply vanish, their files lost, their names erased. Families wait for letters that never come. Mothers still visit gates that never open. In a system built to contain, it's the forgotten who haunt it the most. Even when the gates open, freedom is a mirage. With no job, no home, and a criminal record, most end up right where they started. They call it recidivism, but it's really recycling. The system never lets go. It just restarts the clock. They told me I was free, but out here, I still feel locked up. We call it justice, but justice isn't supposed to destroy. America's prison system was built on punishment, not rehabilitation. And somewhere along the way, it forgot what justice means. It doesn't just lock up the guilty. It locks up the poor, the broken, and the forgotten. Behind every barbed wire fence, every echoing cell door, every nameless face, there's a story America chooses not to tell. We built these walls to protect ourselves from monsters, but maybe, in doing so, we became the architect of something far worse. This is not just a story about prisons. It's a story about us, about what happens when a nation locks away its humanity and throws away the key. Inside America's most dangerous prisons, the system lives on. There's a point inside every prison when tension stops being invisible, when it begins to hum in the air like static. The guards can feel it. The inmates can smell it. Something is coming. One rumor. That's all it takes. Maybe it's about a beating. Maybe about a death covered up. Maybe just a wrong word whispered through the bars. The yard becomes a fuse waiting for fire. It starts with a shout, then a punch, then everything explodes. Plastic trays become weapons. Mattresses become shields. And somewhere in the chaos, someone hits the lights. The entire block plunges into darkness. For the next 7 minutes, there's no law, no order, only survival. When the riot ends, the silence returns, thicker, heavier. The official report says minimal casualties. But the truth? Some men never made it back to their cells. And those who did, learned never to speak of what they saw. Every prison has a paper trail, but not all papers make it to daylight. Whistleblowers describe files quietly disappearing after every incident. Videos overwritten. Reports retyped. This isn't just corruption, it's erasure. In 2015, documents surfaced showing certain prisons running rehabilitation studies, behavioral experiments, medication trials. They called it science. The inmates called it hell. They said it would calm us down, but it felt like they were testing something. No one ever confirmed what those injections contained. Some prisons have walls of concrete. Others are built inside your head. Years in isolation change a man. He stops counting days. He starts talking to the walls, because the walls are the only thing that answer. Every inch of these facilities is under surveillance, or so they say. But every guard knows the blind spots. And every incident just happens to occur in those same places. The truth doesn't disappear. It's deleted. They thought I'd stay silent, but I kept everything. Every file. Every clip. The files leak online. The world finally sees what really happens behind bars. But for every prison exposed, 10 more remain in the dark. Behind every locked door, every strip search, and every meal tray, someone gets paid. Prisons aren't just institutions. They're industries. Each inmate means a contract, a budget, a paycheck. While taxpayers think they're funding justice, investors see opportunity. The more cells filled, the higher the return. Two names dominate America's private prison empire. Together, they control over 120 facilities, housing nearly 150,000 inmates. Their annual revenue? More than $1 billion. Every riot, every sentencing, every parole denied, it all feeds a business model built on bodies. Inmates earn 23 cents an hour making military gear, state uniforms, even call center work for private firms. They call it rehabilitation through labor. But to the corporations, it's a gold mine. A silent army working in chains, making profits of people they'll never meet. More inmates mean more contracts. Private companies have spent millions lobbying lawmakers for longer sentences and tougher parole rules. Justice isn't blind. It's on payroll. And the pain doesn't stop at the gates. Families pay to talk, to visit, even to send a letter. Private telecom companies charge up to $15 for a single 20-minute call. For them, love is taxed, released, but not free. No job, no housing, no record clean enough to start over. Within months, most find themselves back inside, not because they want to, but because society never truly lets them leave. And each return keeps the machine alive. For decades, officials denied knowledge of corporate influence. But leaked memos told another story. A clause ensuring prisons stay full, or taxpayers pay the difference. A system built not to reduce crime, but to guarantee it never ends. America calls it justice. But behind the bars lies an industry too profitable to die. Every inmate is a paycheck. Every prison, a factory. Every sentence, a sale. Inside America's most dangerous prisons, the truth doesn't stay locked forever.